光り輝くがいい。お披露目だ。
少しいいかい。恐れなくていいぞ。罪に向き合うんだ。さあそれよ。逃げるな。ほらほら。それよ。始めよう。ほらほら、寒いから気をつけろよ。どれよ。やっさあどれよ。ほらほらどれよ。やっさあ逃げるな。
世界の熱狂の渦にじゃじゃーん。はいチーズ。
ほらほら恐れなくていいぞ。罪に向き合うんだ。少しいいかい。ほらほらさあどれよ。さあ
光り輝くがいい。お披露目だ。真実至上。熱戦お願い。
どれよ。寒いから気をつけろよ。ほらほらどれよ。ほらほら始めよう。
世界を熱狂の渦に僕をたたえ。ポーズお願いします。
どれよ。やったさあやっさあいってらっしゃい。ほほうタイミングを見計らうんだ。やほらほら
歌え。僕の名のもとに小倉だよ。はいチーズ。
逃げるな。恐れなくていいぞ。罪に向き合うんだ。 いやどりゃいやそれ始めよう。
世界を熱狂の渦にお披露目だ。ポーズお願いします。
ほらほらいやほら行ってください。逃げるな。ほらほら
光り輝くがいい。じゃじゃーん。真実至上熱戦。
恐れなくていいさ。罪に向き合う。うらどりゃ
歌え僕の名のもとに。ポーズお願いします。
少しいいかい。ほらほら寒いから気をつけろよ。どりゃほらほらうらどりゃ
pineapple, a sponge, and a pink starfish, which is again referencing SpongeBob, his home, and his friend Patrick. Like I said when I originally shared this Easter egg, how anyone noticed this blows my mind. Next up is Letter Delivery Simulator Lake. Now in Lake, you
今こそ出陣の時。
お友達が増えたで。
行こうか。
火の用心。力になれるように。断罪の名において。吸引テスト開始。安全距離確認。
またか。
超拡散形態。
用意はとっくにできてるぜ。
こいつはどうだ。
You'll visit loads of different houses, so much so that it might be hard to remember which ones you've been to before. However, there is one house by the lake that is sure to stick in the memory. So at 400 East Lakeview Boulevard, you can once again find a sponge and a pink starfish, which is a reference to Big Bird from Sesame Street. Okay, it's another reference to SpongeBob and Patrick, but it's been a while since I made a Big Bird joke, so cut me some slack.
Si una manzana a la cabeza llegó a la ley de la gravedad, ¿a dónde llevarán además un limón y un pomelo? Llevaron a Real Citrus. Descubrí vos también una Real Citrus, con el balance justo de manzana, limón y pomelo. Real Citrus, feliz algo nuevo.
Up next is the forgotten first-person shooter, Splitgate. Now, calling Splitgate forgotten may seem harsh. I mean, it was the hottest first-person shooter on the internet for a week or two back in 2021. But since then, the player base has dwindled and now the devs are working on something else, which in my opinion, makes it forgotten. Anyway, enough of the history lesson. You're here for another unique reference to SpongeBob and his friends. Unfortunately, you won't find that here. On the Atlantis map, you can find this. I mean, I've explained this Easter egg so many times at this point that if you don't get the reference by now, you never will. Right, let's end today's video with not one, but two SpongeBob Easter eggs from Borderlands 3. Now, most of the legendary weapons in Borderlands 3 are references to something or another, and the Stark Krakatoa is no different. This legendary sniper has a tagline of "Gets him angry and he's bound to erupt," which is a reference to Captain Magma from SpongeBob.
Captain Magma! Get him angry and he's bound to erupt! Krakatoa!
The final SpongeBob Easter egg is by far the best SpongeBob Easter egg in this entire video, hence the reason I put it last. During the Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck DLC, you can find a strange looking hut seemingly in the middle of nowhere. Well, if you approach the hut, this will happen. So allow me to introduce you to Sponge Boss Bullet Pants, who after having his head shot enough times will transform into Sponge Boss No Chance. Now this angry fella is actually really tough to take down. So tough in fact it took me multiple tries and eventually resorting to using a no reload pistol to grind him down in the cheesiest way I could think of. Now if you defeat Sponge Boss, there's a chance that he will drop a legendary item, but unfortunately the cruel hands of fate didn't deliver such an item to me. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated. If I'm honest, I'm not actually sure what they do, but I do know it's nice to see people like my videos.
Elegí con confianza. Elegí Paracetamol Bayer.
So we all know and remember the Easter eggs from really good games. But what about the Easter eggs from the games that aren't good? In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 7 great Easter eggs from really bad games. Now, how I've determined if a game is bad or not is through Metacritic. Basically, if a game scores below 60 on Metacritic, I'm calling it bad for this video. But remember, that doesn't mean it's actually bad. You can like what you like. As always, it's 1 Easter egg per game, and don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you do, I'll send you a copy of E.T. on the Atari. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with a game that I cannot believe scored so low. Now, don't get me wrong, Ghost Recon Breakpoint isn't the best game that I've ever played, but to see it scoring a 58 on PC did surprise me. Now, Ubisoft are known for having somewhat decent Easter eggs in their games, but this Breakpoint Easter egg is much more than decent. If you head to this location on the map and land on the scaffolding, which trust me is a lot harder than it sounds, you can find a button and a clock. If you wait for both the in-game clock and the clock on the ground to strike 12 and then press the button, this will happen. So the shadow of what appears to be Godzilla will appear on the building. Now, when I originally recorded this Easter egg, well over 3 years ago by now, I thought that this was hinting at a Godzilla and Ghost Recon tie-in, but it wasn't to be. So from a game that I was surprised to see score so low, to one that will be a surprise to absolutely no one. Alien Colonial Marines launched in a notoriously bad way. So bad in fact that Sega sued Gearbox for mismanaging the game's marketing. And who can forget the time that a fan improved the game by changing just one line of code that had seemingly been mistyped. Now, despite its problems, Alien Colonial Marines did have some decent Easter eggs, with my personal favourite being a reference to a really funny movie. In Chapter 7, you can find a capsule holding a hat and a cane, and if you hold the interact button next to the capsule, this will happen. So this hat-wearing, cane-wielding alien is a reference to this scene from the sci-fi parody movie Spaceballs.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my rat.
Next up is survival horror game Daymare 1998. Now, at the beginning of the game, you play as a shady government operative who has to investigate an incident and deal with any survivors. And when I say deal with them, I really mean deal with them. After helping the man, you can find this. So hidden behind the secret wall is a message that reads, "You were expecting an Easter egg, but it was me, a wall." Now, this next game doesn't have a Metacritic score, but it's so universally known to be bad that I feel comfortable including it here. Hunt Down the Freeman takes place in the Half-Life universe, but instead of placing you in the shoes of spectacle-wearing hero Gordon Freeman, you play as the person hunting him. I mean, the premise sounds interesting enough, but the game didn't really live up to its lofty ambitions. Anyway, the Easter egg from Hunt Down the Freeman is actually one of the best Easter eggs in this video. On the Welcome to City 17 level, if you climb the rubble at the edge of the map, you can find this. So, climbing the rubble will see you teleported to the back rooms. Now, Hunt Down the Freeman isn't the first game to feature this Easter egg, but luckily we aren't docking points for originality in this video. Next up is a game that many people will and have called bad, but I personally don't think it's that bad. Duke Nukem Forever spent 14 years in development hell, which probably set people's expectations too high, because when it was released, it was destroyed by critics. Like I said, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, sure, it's not a good game, but if you're a fan of first-person shooters, or a fan of throwing poo, then it's worth a playthrough. Anyway, the Easter egg from the Gearbox-developed Duke Nukem Forever references a much better Gearbox game. On the Blowing the Dam level, you can find this.
Well, at least he got an ending.
So this is the head of a psycho from the Borderlands series. Now, I don't know about you, but I always find it funny when a game references a better game. It's like they're reminding you what you could be playing instead. Next up is a game that, if it was reviewed today, would probably score a heck of a lot higher. Fallout 76 released hot on the heels of the extremely well-received Fallout 4. So players were excited to once again explore Bethesda's take on a post-apocalyptic wasteland. However, in the pursuit of the almighty dollar, Fallout 76 released with next to no story, no NPCs or meaningful dialogue choices, and a whole lot of bugs. Like I said, if the game was reviewed now that it's had multiple patches and DLC, I'm guessing the score would be higher. But there is no denying that when Fallout 76 released, it was a disaster. Now, you know how I just said that I find it funny when games reference better games? Well, Fallout 76 does that too. But Fallout 76 references one of the most popular games of all time. When exploring the wasteland, you can find this. So this tractor dragging a carriage is a reference to the opening scene of Skyrim, where you wake up in the back of a cart.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
I mean, it's a cool Easter egg, but maybe don't remind fans of your games that they love, while simultaneously selling them a product that is nothing like your previous games. Right, the final Easter egg for today's video can be found in Postal 4. Now, I don't think the Postal games are actually meant to be good. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say. I mean, who purposely creates something bad? But that's almost the charm of the Postal games. They're crude, they're crass, and above all else, they are loaded with Easter eggs. Now, the Easter egg that I've chosen for this video may look like something, but I can assure you that it's not. At this location on the map, if you no-clip under the swimming pool, you can find this. Now, despite what you may think, this is a giant golden finger. So YouTube, if you happen to be watching, first of all, hi. Second of all, I promise you this isn't what it looks like, and it is definitely a finger. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Did you know that at the Frog Marsh in World of Warcraft, you can find a frog called Kremit and a pig called Miggy? This is of course a reference to Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy from the Muppets. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs. If Easter eggs are your sort of thing, perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about, and don't forget to leave a like, and if you do, I'll send you a partridge in a pear tree. Oh, and before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Acer Predator and Xbox Game Pass. I don't have anywhere to actually play all of those. Predator and Xbox Game Pass for sponsoring today's video. It's always nice to see a video with a game that is new to this channel. Splatterhouse is a horror-themed beat-em-up hack-and-slash game that was released in 2010. Now, the more older Easter egg hunters among you may have played the original Splatterhouse all the way back in 1988. That is, if you can even remember that far back. Anyway, given Splatterhouse's obvious horror themes, I mean the game spills more blood than a clumsy vampire, you might have expected to find some horror movie references in the game. And I'm happy to say that you'd be right. First up, in Chapter 2, you will explore a very creepy orphanage. In the bedroom, you can find a weird looking plushie sitting on a bed. But that's not the Easter egg. If you look towards the floor, you can see a kitchen knife and a pair of legs poking out from under the bed. These tiny legs belong to Chucky, the ginger-haired horror movie icon. The next horror movie to get the Splatterhouse reference treatment is The Evil Dead. During Chapter 4, you can find a man with a hand missing and a shotgun nearby. This is a reference to Ash from The Evil Dead, who of course replaced his hand with a chainsaw in the most over-the-top case of quote-unquote self-improvement since the Kardashians started growing big old dumpies. The final Splatterhouse horror movie reference is aimed at a film that I'm surprised doesn't get referenced more often in games. During Chapter 6, you can find this. So this jumper is the same jumper worn by Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. You're thinking, but Captain, that jumper could be anyone's, and just because it's found near a furnace, that doesn't mean it belongs to Freddy. Well, valued viewer, if the jumper doesn't convince you, how about Freddy's iconic glove that can be found nearby? Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the first Cyberpunk Easter egg is almost certainly a reference to a famous movie scene, but I can't be 100% sure. You see, Cyberpunk Easter eggs are usually laid out in a pretty routine way. Firstly, you stumble across an interesting location, and then you find an archived conversation which sort of confirms the reference. The thing is, I found what I believe to be a memorable movie scene, but the archived conversation doesn't seem to link to the discovery. In fact, I've been so unsure about this Easter egg that I recorded it in June 2022, and have put off covering it until now. Anyway, enough beating around the bush. Your mum hates when I do that. At this location on the map, you can find multiple dead bodies, with one of the bodies being that of a police officer. The officer was seemingly sat on a chair before he was killed, so perhaps he was being interrogated. Now, I think that this mess is a reference to the Quentin Tarantino movie Reservoir Dogs. After a robbery goes wrong, a policeman is captured and tortured for information, before eventually being killed, which would explain the policeman found in Cyberpunk. At the end of the movie, things go bad, and after a Mexican standoff, multiple people are shot, which would also explain the rest of the bodies found in the game. Now, so far, so good. The trouble is, the archived conversation is between someone called Alex Anderson and Ellie Grayson, and it doesn't seem to relate to the film at all. Now, granted, it has been a while since I last watched Reservoir Dogs, so I could be forgetting something. So if you can somehow tie the archived conversation into the movie and into this scene, I'd love to hear it. The other Cyberpunk Easter egg is thankfully more obvious. One of the rogue Delamain taxis that you have to find is called Clarice. Clarice will ask you to destroy pink flamingo garden decorations. Now, you may be wondering, why does Clarice want you to destroy the pink birds? Well, apparently the Delamain taxi can hear them screaming.
Listen, you...
Call me Clarice.
Okay, Clarice. The flamingos are a problem, I'm sure. But it's time to go home. Delamain's asking for you.
Back down now as they stand screaming. No, impossible.
Leave it to me. I'll silence him.
Anyway, after destroying the flamingos, V will say this.
Well, Clarice, have the flamingos stopped screaming?
So V asking Clarice if the screaming has stopped is a reference to this scene from The Silence of the Lambs.
Starling.
Well, Clarice, have the lambs stopped screaming?
Next up is another game that is making its channel debut. Sons of the Forest is the sequel to the 2014 survival horror game, The Forest. Similar to The Forest, you begin Sons of the Forest washed up on a beach and must learn to survive long enough to find out what the hell is going on. Now, that description may leave you thinking that Sons of the Forest is a super serious game. And for the most part, it is. But there is an option hiding in the settings menu that will definitely lighten the mood. So here is what the heads of people look like in Sons of the Forest. And I'm no expert, but that's a normal looking head. Well, if you go to the gameplay settings, you can activate something called Big Head Mode, which, you guessed it, gives everyone really big heads. I wish more games had fun options like this hidden in the settings. The other Sons of the Forest Easter egg is one for fans of the original game. At the main menu, you can hear Sons of the Forest's menu music. So it sort of sounds like the kind of music you'd hear in an 80s action movie. Well, if you enter the Konami code whilst at the main menu, the song will change to this. So this much more somber music is the menu music from the original Forest. Like I said, this Easter egg is only really going to be appreciated by fans of the original game, but I still think it's cool. Right, let's end today's video with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Now, one of the most iconic scenes in Call of Duty history is the death of General Shepard in the original Modern Warfare 2. After betraying Ghost and the team, Shepard finally gets what's coming to him in the form of a knife to the skull. Now, of course, this year's Modern Warfare 3 is a reboot, so in this universe, Shepard didn't suffer the same fate. But there is a reference to his gruesome demise. On the Rust map, you can find this. So hidden in the sand is a skull with a knife embedded inside of it. Of course, the final confrontation with Shepard happened in a location not too dissimilar to Rust. So this is definitely a reference to the end of Modern Warfare 2, which I think is really cool. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated. Be sure to subscribe for more Easter eggs and details from your favourite games. Thank you all for watching, and I'll Did you know that in the Elder Scrolls Online, if you spin your character around on the character select screen, a couple of hidden animations can be seen? Hello and welcome to Hidden Video Game Details. Make sure to leave your suggestions in the comments down below, and if you're feeling extra kind, please consider clicking subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, and don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you do, I'll send you 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with a game that I bet you didn't expect to see in 2023. Madden NFL 10 was the 21st installment of the Madden NFL series, and given it released well over 13 years ago, you may be wondering what makes this particular entry in the long-running franchise so special. Well, it turns out that absolutely destroying your opponent may actually break the game. You see, if you score over 110 points in a single game, this message will appear.
To get into the end zone.
Ben Roethlisberger hides the ball so well. So many times I've watched on tape, and you can tell the defenders.
So a message from EA Sports will pop up at the bottom of the screen, asking you to please stop scoring, otherwise you will break the game. Now, being the curious chap that I am, I did continue to score, and nothing happened. But let's face it, this isn't the first time that EA have lied, and it probably won't be the last. Oh, and being from England, having to learn the basic rules of American football to score that many points is surely worthy of a like. Next up are more cool background animations from Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Now, we have covered some of the background animations from the long-running fighting series before, with the most recent example being seen in episode 147 of this series, where we found a couple of animals that were in love. Well, both of today's Tekken details can be found on the Riverside Promenade stage. Among the bloodthirsty onlookers is a man with a dog, and if you attack your opponent near this dog, this will happen. So the dog will sort of cower in fear. As a dog lover, any detail that features a dog is immediately made 10 times better. The other detail found on the promenade also features man's best friend. If you look off into the distance, you can see a dog taking its owner for a walk. Next up is Spider-Man 2. Now, in Spider-Man 2, Harry Osborn becomes Venom. And that's not a spoiler, by the way, it was in every trailer and all over the game's marketing. Well, in some forms of Spider-Man media, Harry becomes the Green Goblin, and Spider-Man 2 has a cool little nod to that. Towards the end of the game, Miles, MJ, and Peter are brainstorming how to take down Harry/Venom. To do this, they use various different props to help visualize their plan. For example, Peter uses a woman riding a unicorn to represent himself in the plan, because of course he does. Well, when discussing Harry, the team use a Green Goblin. It's a very subtle nod to Harry's role in the larger Spider-Man universe, and one that could be very easily missed. Up next is the excellent Super Mario Wonder. Now, most video games require you to follow a set path in order to progress. Usually, if you try to do things out of order, the game won't let you, or in some cases, just kill you and make you start again. Well, Mario Wonder is different. During the Rolling Ball Hall level that can be found in World 4, you have to complete a Wonder Seed section that sees you dodging a giant spiky ball before dropping down and collecting the Wonder Seed. However, if you grab the elephant power-up and use Mario's trunk to knock this spiked ball into the wall that I do, you can skip the trial completely, and Mario Wonder's many flowers won't be best pleased.
How'd you even get in here? Ugh, that ruins everything. You have to do things in a certain order.
So each of the flowers is either shocked or annoyed at the fact that you've managed to get down here without the Wonder Seed. I love it when games do things like this. Instead of punishing you for experimenting, they acknowledge it with a cool secret. The other Mario Wonder detail can be seen when using one of the game's many badges. In Mario Wonder, badges can be used for multiple different reasons, with some giving you extra movement abilities or power-ups to start the level with. One of the badges even makes Mario invisible, which means that enemies won't attack. This actually makes the game pretty difficult, as it's hard to judge jumps if you can't see Mario. Anyway, if you manage to complete a boss stage whilst using the invisible badge, when you confront Bowser Jr., he will have unique dialogue to reflect the fact that he can't see you. Right, let's end today's video with Fortnite. Now, last week, Chapter 5 of Epic's money-making machine was released, and with it came some really cool details. The first of these details can be seen when using the recently released Eminem skin. Now, there are tons of licensed real-world songs in Fortnite, and despite the characters dancing along to them, they never actually sing the songs. The same goes for the real Slim Shady emote. As you can see, Tom Holland is giving it his all, but isn't rapping along. However, if you use any of the Eminem skins, he will of course rap along to the song. Now, as far as I'm aware, Eminem is the only skin in the entire game that can actually move its lips when using an emote. But I could be wrong, and I'm sure that someone will tell me if I am. The next Fortnite detail can be found in Jonesy's underground hideout. In the hideout, you can find a board with the faces of the bosses that can be killed on the map. The cool thing is, oh, hang on a minute, let me just take out the trash. Okay, so the cool thing is, whenever a boss is killed in the game, they will be crossed off the board in real time. It's a really nice touch. Now, this next detail is one for all of the romantics out there. At this location on the map, you can find a rock formation that is shaped like a love heart, making it a seemingly perfect place for loved up couples. Now, that's cool enough, But overlooking the love heart-shaped rocks is a wedding between two stone frogs / toads. I'm not sure how to tell the difference, with one of them wearing a bow tie for the occasion. The final detail is one of my favourite details of the entire year, and makes all the people that claimed I uploaded my favourite Easter eggs of 2023 video too early right, as who knows what else we'll find in December. Anyway, one of the bosses in Chapter 5 is Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Now, despite his rotund shape and general lack of skill, Peter can be tricky to take down. However, with enough perseverance and patience, it can be done. And when you finally drop him, he will do this. So this animation is a reference to a reoccurring joke from Family Guy. Listen, I know it's easy to hate on Fortnite, and they do have an unlimited pot of money to spend on the game, but it's little things like this that will always keep me coming back. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. Be sure to subscribe for more Easter eggs and details from your favourite games. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.
おとなしくしやがれ。これ
こっちに来るのがさっさと終わらせるぞ。こいつはどうだ。
吸引テスト開始。 1308式ユニット。
さっさと終わらせるぞ。
水中伝言。運命には逆らえません。私頑張る。
天に召せ。
研究また失敗しちゃった。
面白いものを探しに行こう。こいつはどうだ。天に召せ。こいつはどうだ。想定内の不運だ。こいつはどうだ。おとなしくしやがる。
運命を見るのもこれでおしまい。
すまんすまん。こいつはどうだ。こいつはどうだ。
ざまあない。こいつはどうだ。おとなしくしやが
Acá voy.
No importa cuánto tiempo tengas, sino cómo lo usas.
Cogido todos tus pedacitos.
A un lado, voy a pasar. ¡Ajá! Varios rivales, un solo. ¡Esfuérzate! Apréndanse mi nombre. No eres más que un disco rayado. Aguanta, debo arreglar la continuidad espacio-tiempo. Sí perdí, pero no me perdí. ¡Hey, despierta! Los aplausos son hasta el final. ¡Yeah! ¿Qué espera? Palabra suave, ya tú sabes. ¿Qué va a usar? ¿Qué va a usar palabra? Bro, no tiene cerebro, bro. Cuidado con mi regreso. Para descubrirlo. Ven por mí.
Sí, hacen los shurikens así de pequeños.
Algunos son tan pobres que solo tienen dinero. ¡Shai! ¡Réplica! Necesitamos nuevas invenciones que revelen las ¿Y ahora quién sigue, bro? A donde voy, sigue despejado. Es fresco, no hay parentesco. Beso en reverso. No puedes esconderte. Sí perdí, pero no me perdí. Rápido voy, aunque yo nunca corro. Soy Dios, me pregúntalo todo. ¡No puedes tocarme!
¡Los destriparé a todos!
No hay problema. No pierdas el flow. Cuidado con mi regreso. Yo soy el futuro. ¡Mantente firme!
Es el mismo hogar, pero no las mismas creencias.
¡Rebobina! ¡Cuidado ahí! Siéntese. Suéltalo otra vez, DJ. Estar en meta, yo soy la meta. ¡No te tropieces! música es más que música. Verso en reverso. Por orgullo, man. Aquí voy. Soy el rap.
La verdad.
Cuidado con mi regreso. Quédate el rencor, no tumbaste al mejor. Remix. Adelantado a mi tiempo, pero sin perder el tempo. ¡Réplica! Enemigos sinceros sobre amigos rastreros. ¡Yeah!
Esta es la prueba. Esto es movimiento.
side.
Bailemos sobre los ronquidos humanos.
¡Ponte a mi altura!
La música nos hace vivir. Vale la pena luchar por ello. La música nos hace vivir. Vale la pena luchar por ello.
¿Despacio? ¡No! ¡Rápido, rápido, rápido!
Ven por mí. Ponte a mi altura.
Me libero para que los fans puedan seguir mis pasos. Por fin, hagámoslo. ¡Dominamos el mundo! Juventud y destreza, siempre. A todo volumen.